a risk either way, but psygib's use of Ghost Walk has always been quite powerful, I think, on a map like this too. Using it for the right time, because you just know that Athena is going to be chasing that down if you've used it at a bad point. And cha1n, with the Athena, one of the first players that really put this champion on the map mere seasons ago.
Let's see, it's going to come out on top in this first map here. Ryan already psygib just on the back, but just a little bit here, using that. Goes to try and get round him. He'd been greeted by a direct rocket. We're about to clean him up though. No, he doesn't. psygib's the one who comes out on top. Mega's coming up in the next 5 seconds. Depends if he wants to try and go for the trade. Oh, lovely stuff with the LG. Even if it's not going to be a guaranteed frag, just keeps his distance, able to keep him at bay so he can get that Mega almost for free.
I want to point out that super shotgun off the jump pad at the first fight was 120. Like, that was getting that on a light champion. You had to have it perfectly put forward as psygib. That was the only thing that was going to keep him alive in that fight. A high-risk maneuver to begin. However, it is going to give him a lead. The relentless pressure to continue, though. But we look at the items. What's going to come next? psygib still doesn't have a rail, because right now that's just not going to be the aim of the game for him. Unfortunately, that rail is not going to connect, though, giving psygib the Mega uncontested. And now, high ground advantage. A vertical rail. Back to back, though. cha1n's going to use that to fly forward, and there's that mobility we talked about.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love that LG skin. I don't know. I don't know what anyone else thinks of that, but
you know, it gives me real Turok dinosaur hunter vibes. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else knows what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're on about. I think that's kind of the same vibe I was feeling. That was why I've been quite keen on it. As now cha1n drops down, but was that the right time though? Yes, he still takes him down after dropping into the LG from psygib here. Just sort of binding his time and a lot of patience there, just holding that angle. But psygib had the patience of his own just to wait for cha1n to turn around here. But both players do miss that initial first rail. Trying to see if we can get another angle here, but will be greeted top mid. Going to go straight on in. Good rockets, but psygib retaliates some of his own with those defensive rockets there. Picks up the Mega. Heavy's up in the next 10 seconds. He's got the perfect position for it. Depends on the rotation cha1n wants to make, and he's made a good one.
What's it going to be from this Ghost Walk? Ooh, some extra damage that you definitely don't want to take just after you've used your ability. There it is. The change to the rocket, just to be sure. And actually, so consistently, cha1n has just had way more stack in these fights. Kind of looking at the damage dealt, and psygib narrowly taking a bit more here. But I think it's just a sign of how much more stacked cha1n is staying throughout the course of the map. Now, okay. There's the pick up there on the Mega. A good opportunity here for psygib, who does put himself in position for Heavy as well. Could take both of these items if he plays his cards right, but how much damage is cha1n going to try and get on the other end? Actually, not much. Make that nothing. So psygib actually has some breathing space here.
And even look at the Twitch predictions at the moment. cha1n's 57% to psygib 43. It was 50-50. It was back and forth as the viewers themselves
people waited for the map to start in it.
Yeah, there's there's that as well. And then that would be a good time to get involved in terms of the channel points there. 69 HP as cha1n does pick up the light, able to recover ever so slightly. He's not in the best of positions here. Needs to try and decide what route he wants to take. Good rail shot as he was picking up that Heavy. Has got top mid control. Again, changes, making sure to try and abuse those advantageous angles. Has to height as well. Mega's up in the next few seconds. The problem is psygib's in that choke point here. Is he going to try and push into it though? That's going to be the next question. He does, but does he pick up the Mega? I think he does, and that's going to be psygib tying things up.
Pivotal moment to do it. There's still going to be a bit of armor to work with. He knows that cha1n's going to spawn on the opposite side of the map, so there's not going to be a rail to challenge this. It's going to be just rail and LG. Rocket and LG. God, I can't talk today, apparently. But I feel like in that exchange, psygib felt very safe to just run in there and pick it up. What comes next? Stack's pretty even. Oh, here we go, actually. Aggressive. Ghost Walk. Oh, he tried to go for the telefrag. And I think that is going to be paid for dearly. That is as high risk as it gets and did not work. But he lands a 100 damage rocket. An easy turnaround.
It's been an absolute slugfest here. Good LG from psygib. Ooh, just tickled him just to tap at the 32 with the rockets. Got a high ground here. There's going to be a perfect opportunity to take him down, but
he's gone.
What a time to grapple out of that, right?
See ya later, Harry. See ya later indeed. But the next item to spawn is going to be Mega. So psygib's in a better position for this. He actually knows that the armor down near Banana is still yet to be taken, so that's going to be interesting to keep in mind. 10 seconds now until that heavy, and with all the weapons he needs, this surely should be a pretty free pickup. I don't see cha1n just powerhousing himself towards that. He's going to stabilize, play nice and careful. He knows he has the mobility over Nyx in this map, so if he does need to zip away, he can do. There's going to be a rather strong fight, I think, to just be the next player to take the lead here. We've hit that 5-minute warning. An aggressive push begins. And if the more damage psygib can do before he is forced to use the Ghost Walk himself, the better. Now, in this case, he's still taking all of the items. cha1n has almost completely given up control. And wait a minute! If they trade another rail, right as psygib goes in for that tri-bolt, a rail is put in return. But there's a shot that cha1n did not want to take. Full control now for psygib. cha1n at death's door. Not a lot of resources to lick his wounds either. There's only one light armor here, if it's even there, which is not. cha1n tries to use that mobility, Harry, but he just can't get away.
No, he certainly couldn't. You could see because of the stack psygib had, in terms of his weapon selection, just more favouring the tri-bolt and the rockets to keep that map control from top mids. And of course, cha1n can't really do that. He needs to favour the rail more just to continue to do some chip onto psygib. But if he doesn't hit them all, compared to how he was doing at the very beginning, then the amount of frags psygib had to get out of hand here as the Ghost Walk. But which route is he going to take? It's going to be a good one, but look at the amount of damage he took from the LG and pushed him away. cha1n was very lucky, but is he going to delay the inevitable here?
Yeah, set psygib so off course that it just totally messed with his aim. So barely any damage dealt in a situation that I think cha1n really should have gone down. But a nice bit of pushback and has kept himself in this fight. Yes, psygib is convincingly in the lead in terms of control and stack alone, but the fact that we just over 3 minutes left on the clock and there's only one frag that separates the two players, there is, as a wise man once said, still time.
Absolutely right, 3 minutes left remaining. psygib just standing his ground on the Mega, and so he should. Good use of the LG straight away. cha1n is going to be backing away, or backing away rather, as soon as physically possible. Actually reroutes round to the LG area. psygib knows what's going on. Just trying to see if he's going to push any further forward, but he's done enough damage, of course, to the position he was in to pick up that heavy. And because of how heavily segregated the timings are, psygib can go back and forth and contest these items as he sees fit. 2.5 minutes left. Still has the reads and the information he needs in order to keep cha1n as far away or as back, or trying to get as much damage done as physically possible here. Just trying to get these multiple angles around him, but cha1n having just a few issues just getting back in this match out.
Dude, psygib was stalking his prey just then. The fact that he was sitting there and he had the rail angle near Rocket, he saw cha1n run past. Too tight of a window to risk giving his position away. He knows he's in position for Mega and he can take it whenever he wishes. So takes a bit of a stroll over to the right, waits for him to show his face. I think cha1n didn't even know, the angle was being seen, and he takes the shot when he knows it's completely guaranteed and then goes takes the Mega. These small little details that will just push psygib forward in the end of this map to keep cha1n as far behind as he can, given the fact there is only one frag separating them now. An unreturned rail, that is a big opportunity, as psygib still has a Ghost Walk, yeah, sure, but if cha1n can get enough damage to push in, he will be able to chase down no matter what the angles are. Nyx's ability to retreat is not going to be as good as her ability to chase it down with those grapples.
Yeah, he needs to try and bait out this Ghost Walk if he can. And I like that from cha1n. It was kind of like an aggressive push where he can pass off the kill if he needs to. If not, he can go for the Mega. And we've got 1 minute 10 left remaining. Still trying to find that one frag. The Ghost Walk has been used, which now means that it's his chance to try and at least equalise the scoreline. Does manage to in the end. And look at the stack difference. So still Ryan has a minute left and he can continue with the aggression if he needs to. Heavy is up, does manage to pick it up, can get for the Mega. Now how is he going to go about this? Just grapples in straight away, stops using the LG, and he can just go for the 6th and potentially final frag here. Oh, Myers got taken outside the map here. Has the Mega, and this is a time for cha1n to try and get this first map win.
That would have been a very, very different fight if that rocket actually caused a ring out, which it was oh so close to doing. psygib pushing forward. I mean, he's got to take this 5 seconds to try and take this heavy, but with 30 seconds left to go, that's a lifetime. And now actually, A rail. That makes things very, very scary for psygib, mate. How do you bring yourself back into this? You've got 3 rockets. You've only got rail. You haven't even got an LG. You haven't even got a shotgun. He does not have the tools or the health to chase this one down as cha1n's going to run away. I don't know if he's going to be able to find it. Knocked off course, and that might be the end. Wait a minute. Oh, my God. He gets it with the last little stretch, but he's still weak. It's so risky taking this heavy right now. What is going on here? Harry, the overtime commenced. Awoken the rail. One more of those, sir.
Literally, it was half a second went through the TP. Does Tank another round of his own?
Oh!
psygib needs to try and back away once again. Mega is going to be picked up. Heavies was picked up earlier on. psygib's in a world of trouble here. cha1n is to try and make the correct read. Oh, the drive-by rail just barely missed, but hits one of his own. So almost equals the stack. That's going to be opportunity gone now for cha1n. psygib just trying to not stay alive, but just stand his ground, get ready for next heavy. Just trying to stabilize this first map if he can. Just try and at least get a little bit of breathing room here. The aggressive close one's coming out here, Ryan. Is he able to take him down? I think he should be able to here, but good first rocket from cha1n. He missed the next one.
Oh, the miss!
LG, but he needs to hit the rail. He doesn't still. It's going to be circling all the way around. And look, again, cha1n normally reroutes round to the LG room, but decided to make the correct one once again and reroute back towards the rail. Jesus Christ.
psygib, you are an absolute mad lad going for a play like that in an overtime. The bravery someone has to put forward. No! Oh, no!
I can't believe that was the way it ended.
Can we get an instant replay of that? Is that?
That was it.
I wish I could say, Lethal, that that's the first time I've ever seen that. The accidental self-frags in overtime has got to be the worst feeling. It has to be.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. When I saw the LG damage he done, I was like, okay, cha1n can probably route around and go for the Mega straight afterwards, or just, you know, rejuvenate his stack going into LG. But yeah, I didn't expect it to end it like that.
I want to see what chat have to say about that. I'm gonna have a look. I'm gonna have a look over. But look, so on a more serious note, that was a really good map. Like the intense back and forth and the constant struggle for power and really the power of who was in control was on the balance by a single rail for most of the map. That the moment it started to turn the other way, you know, you'd look at psygib, who is in full control. He's got all the items, he's got all the health, and then boom, misses a rail, takes one in return. Immediately, the momentum is different. And then, oh my God, psygib, the overtime, not even getting that last-minute comeback with basically a second left to go, being able to score the overtime. During the overtime, went for an aggressive ghost walk push that if cha1n hit that rail during that fight would have taken psygib out. There is so much stones on this man. I'm envious.
Do you know what's funny as well? Both players were laughing straight away at the end of it. They both just laughed and gone,
oh yeah.
After
there it is.
That was the crucial moment. That was the replay we wanted to see. Cheers production for that. We were just, you know, just a little bit. Well, to be fair, it was actually a lot further back than we thought. We thought we were just trying to get a quick rocket in and then back away again. But okay, that wasn't going to happen. But you can see there from the stats for cha1n, it was very rail heavy. That was more due to the fact that the item control psygib had. He favoured more the tri-bolt and the rockets when he had top mid. And you can see cha1n was just after a little bit more chip damage across the board. But that was a great matchup. More of that, please. You know, these next two maps, if the first map's like that, then, you know, we're going to be happy as Larry here.
Well, it's going to be one small map to another, but one's vastly different. psygib on the Scale Bearer is already quite an imposing force. On a map like Corrupted Keep, it can be even more so because of just the snowball effects that we've talked about time and time again. And if you're a top-level duel player, you just have to learn how to play this map. You know, it's going to pop up. It's going to play unlike the other maps. It's going to be its own little beast. They often say what happens in Corrupted Keep stays in Corrupted Keep. But cha1n, it's easy for us to sit and say this, but it sucks what happened at the end of Awoken. It was accidental. These things happen. It's sometimes more punishing than others, clearly, but you kind of just need to be able to shake that off. You know, you have to be able to forget about it. These
I
players,
think he laughed it off, I think.
He did. It was the first thing I saw in chat was nice in all caps, followed by an LMAO. I think we all echoed that one. But my point is that whatever happened was a crazy finish. It was a weird finish, but you just got to forget about it because now we're jumping into our next map. Both players are readied up, and now the warm-up should be commencing. So.
Yeah, this is it. And for the Galena, it's going to be interesting against the scale. If you had the Eisen, okay, you can stop the bull rush with the turret, or at least orb away with the range or anything like that. So it's going to be a lot of rocket jumping to be had for the likes. I think it's more the case of the cha1n needs to be very, very cautious about the fights he takes. Again, it's going to be the range game, abusing that heavy machine gun when he can or as he sees fit. We see a lot of that anyway, but we're going to see a bit more coming out from cha1n, I'm sure, here, depending on how psygib is going to try and approach this matchup. But if we see the same scoreline, maybe a little bit more less of an anticlimactic ending, then yeah, I'm all for it here, Ryan. I'm all for it. Going into map number 2 here on the Corrupted Keep, let's see what cha1n has on offer.
cha1n going for a good start, chooses to immediately steal away that light armor on the off chance that psygib might have pushed forward to take it. Double up on that armor for both denial and having a heavy in your pocket, which is great. And the totem already in full swing. Now, only having access to a super shotgun, but against a heavy, we've seen that super shotgun do oh so much damage. In this opening 30 seconds, we're going to be seeing the next set of items spawn soon. And actually, in the time it took for cha1n to run and take that light armor, has already put a delay on those items. So now, knowing where his opponent is, does take a lot of machine gun damage, though. Likely to have this weird exchange, but here comes another totem. And it is psygib without armor. Surely he's going to back off and take that light, as he will do. But an aggressive start from psygib. cha1n has been just playing around him so much so far. You can just see it. He's listening out. He's looking for the fight. And then when it happens, I'm having an angle on you. And actually, so far for cha1n has worked out fantastically.
And cha1n is playing this exactly... Oh, beautiful nails there. But this is what I mean. This is exactly how he should be playing this. He hasn't got a heavy machine gun as of yet. Oh, he does now. Sorry, excuse me. But beforehand, he didn't. So he had the standard machine gun, the tri-bar, just doing a little bit here and there in order to take the engagement straight afterwards. And the ball rush is coming on out. But actually, probably does him a little bit of a favour. But even then, the psygib comes out on top in that little scuffle. And now psygib also able to get the weapons in his arsenal.
If you want a reason as to why Scalebearer is such an intimidating champion in duel, it's for a situation like that. Man just bull rushed through a corridor where he knows that cha1n is listening to him, has almost 100% LG, and still wins the fight. That is the Scalebearer effect, and truthfully, you know, maybe it's one of the reasons that psygib likes to play this champion on this map. It's such a brawl-heavy map. If you have a champion that can negate basic fights and just strong-arm them into his favor, I think that's quite an advantage. Shotgun a point! Shotgun! Another one, though. 2 for 2. Okay.
cha1n again just backing away. And we know the style of play he needs to play here in order to trying to get a little bit more frags to his name, but needs to recover first before he does that. Good little bit of rocket damage just to delay that push. Finds psygib again, but psygib's been very, very aggressive, and so he should really. This is what he needs to do. He needs to try and close the gap, not in terms of scoreline, but in terms of distance here. And cha1n is doing a great job just using those defensive rockets, using heavy machine gun when he's a little bit further out than he needs to be. And still has that turning to use if he puts... Oh, the direct!
Ouch. That's what we can say about that one. And that is a bad place to get caught. Wrong side of town. Oh, dear. Right, it's the item spawns, too. Now, we are going to see a lot of plasma being thrown. And cha1n says, you want to get me off the spawn, mate? I'll chuck the plasma here, there, and everywhere. But cha1n has been playing this matchup smart so far. This kind of map is going to be psygib's playground. He is not afraid to throw down. I know Flea said it in the past. When you think of someone that can just brawl and fight, psygib is one of those picks always. Corrupted Keep is a map that will just force that on you. And cha1n is playing very carefully. You have to. You know, you get caught with very little armor, all of a sudden you hear, roar! And it's like, oh god. All right, here we go. It's time to party.
Yeah, it's one of an audio cue you just hate to hear, really, isn't it? No matter who you are.
I will lead the way.
And psygib now with a massive stack. It just standing his ground. Some good rockets so from cha1n. Only problem is he can be able to get away. He gets the Mega though for his troubles. Still just dishing the dirt with the LG. 7 HP. Has to try and back away. Will he be able to survive? He does. And psygib just trying to reroute around from above, as you saw just there. But cha1n Double backs to recover. Good reach once again. Good rotation, in all fairness. But the only problem is, psygib after blood manages to get it now 5-3. And this is what, you know, it's like you said with Corrupted Keep. For anyone with very, very strong or just great combat skills all around, it should favour that player. But again, you've got to be a bit cautious against some of the players you're up against. cha1n especially with the way he's playing at the moment.
However, as much of a brawl-happy fighter psygib is, he does always have the items in mind. You'll notice the last rotation of items, psygib and cha1n, they both had a weird exchange where cha1n almost died, able to pick up a little bit of health, picked up some armor. psygib, you know, even though his opponent was weak, he didn't use that opportunity to chase another frag. He kept his opponent weak so he could run back and take heavy for free. Went straight back in with a much bigger stack and then got the frag. You know, always keeping his head on top of his shoulders. However, tries to steal away Mega, is not successful. And cha1n should be able to take a little bit of armor nearby should it spawn in time. He'll need it. psygib's picked up a heavy. Alright, there we go.
Yeah, he has a rough idea where psygib is, but he needs to be very careful how close he gets to him. Knows he hasn't got an LG, but using that tri-bolt to try and fish cha1n out if he can. Good read as well. Will bull rush into that Mega just for extra insurance and of course not taking as much damage. Of course, without the heavy machine gun in hand, cha1n was able to get a little bit more done here. Picks up the heavy, and this could be the start of a comeback here for cha1n, but the problem is he's still got a bit of a stack to try and chop down in terms of what psygib has here. But does have a machine gun of his own though.
Lovely bit of optimization from psygib through that teleporter as well.
Lovely,
Ouch! Just like that, man. It's so easy to lose track of how much damage you're taking from heavy machine gun. I was going to mention something about using the charge to get around the totem damage and stuff like that, but that opportunity now is long gone as we've had a frag on deck. The fight for this armor, which is going to be so important now. 4 minutes left on the clock, and with an LG, oh god! The nail gun has done so much work for both of these players so far. It's so impressive, but cha1n, weak. Can't go in for that light, and he knows it's far too obvious. cha1n has to play a scary game of cat and mouse right now, as it will be psygib in place for the Mega. cha1n doesn't fight to say... He doesn't want to just throw himself at this. With one frag in between, there is enough time to make something happen, but one foolish mistake at this point is going to make life so much harder.
It's just his map positioning in a nutshell as well. He's always in a position to get away, and obviously as soon as he hears the audio cue, he knows he's in a bad position to try and get away once more. And I kind of feel like cha1n has either been on a default stack or just forever been weak, and it's been very, very tough. And that's just psygib being aggressive across the map, making sure he can't pick up these lights, can't get any kind of height advantage. And the ball comes in again, rocket jump.
Oh, the bait!
The problem is he got caught with the LG. As
that was a bait, my friend.
Unfortunate there, and that is going to be it. Another frag to psygib's name.
That was someone who has played Scalebearer once or twice and has seen people try and rocket jump for years. You're stuck out in the open. There's literally one thing you can do to survive, and you have to do it. cha1n would have been out of his mind to not try and escape that. And he will secure a frag here, but man, that was one of my favorite frags of the day. That's smart stuff. I told you, psygib got the sauce.
Certainly bloody does, but the only problem is for psygib now, cha1n actually has the stack to work with. That rocket's not going to help him though. Oh, the damage and the TP frag straight afterwards just to try and tie things up. And he's caught off guard with the LG as well. He could keep his distance and use heavy machine gun, but he's just going to prioritize the fight anyway. Puts the totem down. That's at the Mega. Great stuff here from cha1n. cha1n just needs to continue to do what he's doing right now. psygib, don't get me wrong, he's also playing extremely well. Just needs to continue to be proactive.
Dude, what the hell is going on in this series?
I don't know.
psygib knocked him towards the teleporter so he could be better in position to get damage, and then he got more than he bargained for. It's like when you order a cream cheese and salmon bagel and they just put way too much cream cheese on it. It's like, dude, I wanted this, but not like this. What's it going to be now? Less than 2 minutes on the clock and psygib being forced to make something happen. But cha1n, this is where his strong defensive play against this champion has been problematic. And there it is! They trade! But who's going to get spawn? Heavy's in play. psygib, is he able to take the heavy? It's a race for heavy. A race that cha1n will win. And he's got a super shotgun in the tank. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! The totem again!
Oh no! Oh,
just can't
Chain's
kill
looking
him!
on top. psygib definitely had the better spawn, picked up the light, he had the weapons in his arsenal straight away, and cha1n was still able
Hang
to
on.
come out on top here.
Hang
Minute
on,
left
Harry.
standing here. psygib still has a chance here, Ryan, to try and make something happen. But cha1n just needs to continue keeping his distance. Don't get overzealous. Don't get too excited and try and throw this lead away.
missed!
Or at least, and still takes him down here. That could be the final nail in the coffin for cha1n.
Oh, psygib. He had such a strong idea, but he missed the shot. That super shotgun absolutely would have done it. cha1n has no choice but to accept the inevitable, and on other maps would be like, oh, there's a slither of a chance, but this is corrupted keep, where you can snowball at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and psygib forced to push. There's no other alternative now, and if he's in position to get an item, even better, but now kills are going to be the name of the game. He hears the totem get dropped, he knows that cha1n's going to be a little bit healthier, and he does get the frag, but actually doesn't have a lot of health. Is cha1n going to just try and refrag here? He has 10 seconds. I mean, psygib's so weak. He actually doesn't have time to get the full rush. Oh, and there's the rocket. cha1n will secure this map. But what a close one it was once again.
It certainly was indeed. cha1n, lovely stuff there. Managed to win that second map. And I'm not going to lie to you though, Ryan, at one stage, you kind of felt like that second to last engagement. psygib had a big stack. He took way more damage than he should have done. And I kind of felt like that was cha1n's game plan. He knew he was going to get cleaned up. And if he did, then the trade potential was there anyways. But yeah, that was very, very close in itself. And even with the item control, cha1n only had 14. The psygib had 25. And this is what I was talking about as well. It's the fact that for psygib, he was very, very proactive. But at the same time, cha1n was also doing also equally as good job. But in terms of the style of play, he had to bring to the table with the range, the positioning, reacting as he saw fit, and making the right reads as well. Both players, some people may say it was very chaotic, but it was organised chaos, I think we like to say.
I really enjoyed how cha1n approached that map. You know, we often see players brawl quite considerably on keep, but there was a very clear defensive position pretty much all the way through. And then that finally started to work out in favour of cha1n, because he never really got steamrolled. You know, there were a couple of frags there where, look, yeah, you're probably going to die because you've got a scale bearer that's point blank and he's rushing at you.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, what can you do? But in particular, right near the end when cha1n finally had that like solid frag lead, and he had stack, and he had control, that is where that defensive position starts to actually really become a lot more beneficial for you, because now psygib hasn't got time to kind of be a little bit careful and then pick those moments to go in. He now has to go in no matter the cost, because there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. So if you're already playing a strong defensive game and your opponent is having to become a little bit more predictable, we'll say, because they have no choice but to go in, it will just benefit you even further. So well done to cha1n for that, absolutely. That cheeky little telefrag was so funny near the mega.
Good. So good. And you can see there's this huge damage distribution as well between a lot of the weapons, especially around the likes of the nail area. Oh, see, look, I'm 2 for 1 here. You can't really complain, can you? Sorry,
Wait,
Wheat. I was trying to go around the other side, mate, but I kind of messed things up a little bit. Sorry, Wheat. But anyways, I'm going to get back to my original point.
Hello, Wheat. You're here early.
Completely threw me off. But you saw the damage distribution as well. It was for psygib, it was very, very LG heavy, but it wasn't so much for cha1n because he had to use a lot more of the defensive rockets to keep his position. A lot of the nail damage as well. So a lot of little things here and there, which is why the distribution in terms of damage was massive in terms of the weaponry in their arsenal across the board. Is what we kind of expected here. But week coming in as well just before the third and final map. It's got me pumped going into this next one, I think, Ryan.
It's kind of mad to think that we're going to be joined by DJ Wheat already. You know, it's we've had some good games coming in.
He's getting too excited.
That's got to be early in the day for him. I don't know. Actually, not quite. Actually, my geography is absolutely dreadful. So maybe I'm completely talking out of my rear with that one. But let's now rewind a little bit, because we've had a lot of fun and we've had some chaotic couple of maps, but the point remains that both of these players are yet to receive a series win in this season. It's now down to the Veil as the decider map. Only one person is going to finally break that losing streak, and someone else, unfortunately, is still going to continue that. So, these next 10 minutes we're about to play, we're loading into the Veil as we speak, so it'll only be a few more seconds. This is an important map. Harry. We've been having a lot of fun, but now the fun probably stops, because now it's do or die in the next 10 minutes.
Surely psygib can't have another 2-1 loss. Surely not. Like, he's had quite a few of them so far, and I'm going to feel so sorry for him if this is going to be another one to the tally here. But this is a matchup where it's going to be very, in terms of decision making for the execution of the frag you want to try and gain, it's going to be very tough to decide, because you've got to kill with the pineapples if you push into any choke points, because you've got the turret on the other side of things. So I think in terms of when they're going to choose to make these fights or create these fights to happen, it's going to be interesting. It really, really is indeed. So I think both these players are going to just try and smooth things out a little bit, feed each other out, and then whoever's got like a much bigger stack in terms of margin, then we may see something come out of these guys. But could see a real heavy matchup. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest here. We've seen it back in the last series, but this time around I wouldn't be surprised to see it in this map as well.
psygib is going to be the one immediately controlling that higher ground as a hungry cha1n pushes forward to say, you know what, mate, I have something to say about that. Heavy's in position and he can't quite steal it away. That's a wonderful beginning here for cha1n. psygib. Oh, and he steals away the mega. Choking on my own rage here. 2-0. Harry, help.
I'm trying to help here, mate. This is going to go again. It could even be a 3-0 if it's the rocket, but psygib finally gets to trade 18 HP. Took a bit of time, but he got there in the end. Oh, nice little rocket as well, but cha1n comes back with a rail of his own. I was so wrong at the start. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they'll ease into it. They'll feed each other out. Already 3-1, 4 frags, and it's only been a minute 10 here. cha1n has the high ground, drops to see if he can try and cut off an angle. Picks up the mega, realizes that psygib's going to back away. It actually decides to double back. It's the rail here. cha1n, of course, does need to back away, but Heavy's going to be on the menu here for both these players. Will be coming up first, or we could see a gentleman's agreement on these items.
Yeah, when the chips are down, both of these players, I think, not shy of going for the more risky decision, we'll say, as Heavy in place. Now, a bit of a trap is set, but ultimately psygib did have the objective, right? He wanted to take that away, but a couple of rails, that might not have been part of the plan. That's a scary jump pad to go up. Lovely rocket, and an even more lovely rail to finish as the two-piece combo with fries. cha1n, 4-1. We've only just started this map, and already it's chaos. I love it.
85% rail hit percentage. I know it's only 7 shots, but yeah, it's not something you want to deal with at the very beginning. Oh, nice little turret placement there from psygib, just to try and keep cha1n away so he can pick up the Heavy a little bit easier than he would like. But still,
nice
cha1n's just going to stand his ground as well.
Mega. The next plan, in this case, cha1n was forced to back off a little bit, but I kind of feel like with what's going to be the next pickup, right? Heavy is going to be the next objective, and yes, psygib was able to take the mega, but I'm a Heavy, right? I've already got plenty of stack to work with. I've made some pretty game-changing rails in this map, and we've only just started. I feel like cha1n is, yeah, he's going to be more than happy to allow psygib to take these items and then kind of neutralize the benefits of it almost immediately, putting us back to that neutral position of stack, where cha1n is clearly winning.
Certainly is. cha1n is just playing it very safe, especially with the positions he's taking. Makes perfect sense considering it's a slight stack of disadvantage, but really wanted to go for that Heavy, but just again doesn't have enough information in order to pursue that Heavy. We're backing away once again. Mega's up in the next 12 seconds. There's cha1n on the back foot. Taking way too much damage, and it looks like psygib has made the right read, taking a few pineapples here and there, but again, cha1n coming up on the spawn, has to trade potential if he needs to, but the problem is for psygib, he's already picked up the mega, he's already recovered in terms of the armor department, he puts a turret down already, misses that second rail now, and this is not what we want to see from cha1n here, is now psygib, massive stat to work with, just a matter of how he's going to initiate this next frag.
That was a phenomenal read, knowing the drop down was inevitable. Good call out, and now puts himself a little bit more in charge of the situation. 4-2, and we haven't hit that halfway point yet. Again, I don't want to be a broken record, but I want to remind anyone that might have just tuned in, this is a important final map. Both of these players are yet to receive a season win, and whoever gets this map will finally break that streak, right? And that's something that both of these players are going to want dearly. And we only have 5 minutes really left to go, so chips are down. This is where the pressure the composure of these players is going to be tested to the limit. We haven't seen any key mistakes so far. We've seen some brave reads, some strong decisions. The aim has been fine. Clearly, both these players rising to the occasion, but only time will tell. 5 minutes left to go, almost.
Yeah, I haven't seen a huge amount as of yet. The first couple of minutes was definitely a bit manic. Good LG damage coming up from psygib. Was looking to go for the rail, but got some good tri-bolt there, and cha1n did retaliate with a rail of his own. Looking to back away. Good read with the rocket as well, but psygib just lining that up. Trying to hit the second as well. Doesn't, but is in a position to try and get this mega, and decides to prioritize the kill just to throw cha1n off completely. Now only a 1 frag deficit here. Just send it up with the turret in case he does push it on forward, but it's not going to be the case, as now cha1n just trying to get all the weapons in his arsenal once again. Hurry up in the next few seconds. psygib just checking all angles to make sure it's safe, it's all clear to pick up the heavy, which it almost was, but sadly for cha1n, he didn't hit that initial rail.
cha1n did have the right idea, but he can't push too hard. He still doesn't have an LG. He's got a rocket and a rail, which is certainly better than nothing, but there is going to be that magical distance where psygib is going to out-damage him considerably. Ooh. Didn't see that, but cha1n did a little bit of accidental self-damage with the grenade. Managed to slip behind psygib right there, and actually get himself a rail too. That was very cute. And he's taken out the turret to boot. psygib, alright. What are we going to do from here? That stack was neutralized once again. Shades of what we saw earlier in the map. psygib is the one that needs to make something happen, and that's an opening.
That direct massively helped there. You may have noticed as well, cha1n over the last minute and a half has switched over to that defensive posture, not to try and secure the win, but he knows that it's all about that chip damage and to try and secure some of his items through a different route. Heavy is up, but both players are just baiting each other out to try and pick that up, but that rail could be the main factor here, but here's the rail as he goes forward. It's psygib. Oh, cha1n is looking to go for the mega. Mega's up the next 5 seconds. psygib isn't going to take the risk. It looks like it's just going to let him have it, which is understandable. It's going to try and flank around to see if he can find anything else, which he doesn't, but at least he's got the high ground here. cha1n is still quite weak, just recovering from his losses in terms of stack here. This could be a window for now for psygib to try and tie things up if he can. He should be able to. Yes, he does. 3 minutes left, all tied up.
Perfect time to land the frag too, because now with heavy in place, we are going to have a fight. No wonder cha1n immediately, oh dear no, the rocket jump to give himself a boost did not work. And all he did was give himself extra damage as he flies right into the face of cha1n. Got to give cha1n his props, man. Picked up an LG and he ran straight for that heavy. He knew that was going to be the next call, and being there quick enough to stop psygib from just taking it. Not only that, but securing the frag too. That was a great decision, and now with 2.5 minutes left to go, cha1n is narrowly in the lead.
If he's hitting rails like this, it can secure a victory in this series. 2 minutes and 15 left remaining. cha1n has all the pineapples in the world if he wants to try and keep his opponent back. So it could be about positioning here. What corridors he wants to try and hold. How he's going to try and approach these next items. Meg's up in the next couple of seconds. He has absolutely no plans to go for this here, as considering he hasn't got the stack and he has the turret to deal with as well. You know, pineapples won't be as much of use, especially on that portion of the map. Heavy though, up in the next 5. Does breeze up anyway. Stack looking a little bit better here. psygib is going to go for the heavy. Good damage though with the combo. It hits the second round as well. This could be the finisher. 3 for 3 for cha1n to increase this lead now 6-4. And psygib is going to be all out aggression here.
This is going to be the alarm sounding, as psygib has got to make something happen, and he is running out of time. cha1n, perfect positioning once again, and that rocket is just going to add insult to injury. Because honestly, psygib's in a world of hurt right now. cha1n has more stack. cha1n has 2 frags in the lead. psygib's been forced away. There's no heavy to be had. This will no doubt be a free kill, as once again cha1n picks one up. This is the critical moment. And dare I say, actually, map probably going to be over off the back of that one. If he frags cha1n, cha1n's the heavy champion. He's going to spawn with a large stack. I just don't see this happening. This is a comfortable finish for cha1n, who's able to take that 2-1 off a disastrous end to map 1. Was able to prevent causing too many problems, we'll say. Kept his head on his shoulders and has been able to secure himself a win. So big well done there.
Yeah, you can literally just play cat and mouse at this point, and with the starting stack, yeah, it's just not. Oh my god, if he makes plays like that, then it's definitely not going to happen at all. And this side is cha1n does win the series out 2-1. And I will say this though, that one frag, the rocket to rail combo hitting the second one straight afterwards. But he knew full well that if he hits every single shot and just does everything he can in order to try and contest that item, then this should be his in the bag. And he did that straight off. That was, to be fair, not even just this map alone, but it was just an incredible series overall. GG's all round. cha1n will take the series 2-1 over psygib again. psygib just having a bit of trouble closing out another matchup, another 1-2 to the tally here. Must be like 3 or 4 in a row now. He will find that series win eventually, Ryan. It's just a matter of time.
This one was too close to call. It just came down to those final 5 minutes of this map. There was that key point where cha1n was able to really sort of, steamroll on ahead. It was near that heavy when we saw that lovely sort of rocket into rail. We landed a second rail on top of it, and then really the pressure was on. And because cha1n plays such a strong game of positions all the time, I think that was the best case scenario for him to be in. Your opponent is now forced to become a lot more desperate. We actually saw shades of that before as well. The moment you're the one in charge, and now your opponent has to become a little bit more, I guess we will say predictable, because they haven't got time to be careful. They've got to push forward. They have to try and get a frag. There's no more time to do it. That is where cha1n's going to be at his most comfortable, because he's already playing those angles, and now you have a higher chance of doing what he thinks you're going to do. Best case scenario. And we'll take a series win because of it. Well done.
Yeah, I think the entire series we can just say it was organised chaos all round. It wasn't really that chaotic where it was just very back and forth and trades very back and forth.
It
was just more the fact that no, of course no. We're just saying, but like for cha1n, it was just he had a lot more thought out of in terms of a calculated and methodical approach. And psygib, it's just him being the fact that he was trying to be as proactive as possible, and you have to against someone who's going to play that methodical. He knows what it's like because he's actually one of the most methodical players himself in the league, so he knows exactly how to try and counter that, just be as proactive as possible and just be as much of a nuisance as possible on this map. And the fact that we've just had that series, we still got Avik versus Razy coming up next, and we have Rafa versus Kilson.
Yes,
we've got a field day yet so far. We're at the halfway stage.
We are being treated to the most excellent games. That's what I can say about that one. It's been a good day already. With these two in particular, we got a set that I really thought we'd see. It was going to be close. Yeah. It was going to be a clash of styles because they do not play similar. And you already know, even through the champion picks, that we were going to get something along those lines anyway. The Awoken and the Journey, the accidental self-frag, which cost the map for cha1n, being able to keep himself composed and have a dominant, strong final showing in the closing moments of Corrupted Keep, and then Veil, where that defensive play really paid for itself. And you got to be disciplined to play defensive in this game. One small mistake can lead to disaster. It's a smart choice to pick Keel on the back of that, because you have the stack, you have the grenades. Even when you get caught with only one weapon, the grenades just give you that extra utility, right? But either way, well done. Fun 2-1 to be had. We are now going to take a quick break, and when we come back, our first featured matchup of the day, Avik and Razy. They're going head to head, and you don't want to miss it.